Good morning. This is going to be a story about how I ordered a Ford Raptor 2019 on Vroom, and well, let me show you what I ended up with. And so this 1999 4Runner is actually what I'm driving today. Now, do I like this car? Yes. Did Vroom sell me this car? No. And that's the process I want to walk you through, is the nightmare of Vroom that I dealt with to try to get this Raptor that I ordered weeks ago that somehow, apparently, I was lied to multiple times throughout the process. And I sadly will never recommend Vroom or that anyone do business with Vroom after this experience, because hopefully I can avoid you dealing with the same headache that I did. And so the nice thing with these old vehicles is that everything is super easy to replace, fix, or swap. So I can't tell right now if that is any brighter or not, but what I can say is I'll test it tonight, because last night when it was raining and dark, it was a little bit hard to see. All right, so my experience with Vroom. Let's start from the beginning. So the van, I've got the van coming 2 weeks before delivery. They told me it was ready. I talked to both the manufacturer, Storyteller Overland, and my RV dealer. I have this in writing. They're like, yep, everything's on track. So I sell my Jeep, only to then find out that the van is now indefinitely delayed. So my original idea was just kind of get a beater for the time. I live in Colorado. I want to be able to still go off-road, go camping. And I started looking for like old Land Cruisers, old 4Runners, and they're just super hard to find and they're very expensive still. So I started thinking, okay, I have no ETA on this. I've got my channel. Where could I get a car from? So I started looking online. I started calling dealers. Most dealers aren't even taking orders on new cars at this point, much less have them in inventory. And then all of a sudden I realized Vroom actually had a good amount of Ford Raptors, like 10, which is still a good amount. I obviously used, and they were very close to the Kelley Blue Book instant trade-in offer. So I found one I really liked, and it sold about 2 hours later. So I couldn't even get that one. So I looked at a different one. This was actually in a better color for me, the gunmetal gray. It was selling for $62,499. It had leather and basically no other options. That's really all I wanted anyway. Good mileage, had 34,000 miles on it. I ran it through Kelley Blue Book instant offer, and the offer was for $60,800. So right away, I'm like, well, I can pretty much lose $1,500, and that's not a bad deal. Other alternatives were renting a car that was gonna be 2 to 3K a month, and then it's a rental. I'm bound to that type of thing, so I can't really take it off-roading. So I figured buying was a good option, especially since I didn't have a hard date on the van at this point. So I wasn't sure if I was gonna finance or buy the car outright, so I started running through, basically got a USAA loan approved. So I ended up doing a cash deal, wired them the money for this truck, all on the same day. As soon as I started checking out, someone called me, Tanya, who we will talk about her later, seemingly was super helpful, answered all my questions, made the process seem super simple. They said 10 to 14 days delivery. Great, I really need the truck at this point. I've already gone almost a month without the Jeep, so I've had no vehicle. This is where the nightmare started. Placed the order, signed the paperwork all in one day. Truck was mine. They said 11/2 is your delivery date. Watched a lot of YouTube videos on the Raptor in the meantime, just getting super excited. That's kind of when the red flags started. So I placed the order. Basically, it got stuck in this weird thing. Like I got 3 contracts of the same type sent to me. And so the order said that it was mine. I got a congratulations email. I actually had the Denver hub reach out to me saying, congrats on your new truck. However, the tracking in the portal showed like I still had to do paperwork. So I called the salesperson, Tanya, and she's like, nope, you're good. Everything's good. I see you have an ETA of 11/2 delivery. So that was the week I ordered it. This was a Tuesday. Fast forward a week to the next week when the tracking still was showing nothing. I reached out to the Denver hub. Is there any ETA, updated status? Where is this truck? Just trying to understand when it's gonna get here. And they're basically like, we have no ETA. It hasn't even been picked up yet. So at that point, I emailed the salesperson saying, hey, hasn't been picked up yet, what's going on? She, to her credit, immediately calls me. She's like, well, customers aren't even supposed to be talking to the delivery hubs. First off, that doesn't make sense to me because the hub actually reached out to me, congratulating me on the purchase. And when you go into the Vroom hub, it says, if you have any questions on delivery, contact the delivery hub, mine being Denver in this case. So the salesperson's telling me she can't even talk to the delivery hub. She then told me the truck is already in Denver. Okay, so why aren't they delivering it? It's just sitting there. So she promised me the truck was in Denver, not to worry about it, and that worst case it would be here by 11/2. This is when I realized the lies started just flowing in. Reached out to Denver Hub again saying, hey, I heard from the salesperson, it's here. They don't respond. 3 days later, this is now about a week and a half into my delivery experience, they reach out and say, we assure you the truck is on the way. However, we cannot get in touch with the delivery driver. So fast forward a few more days again, it is now the day before this is supposed to be delivered. The online portal says it has not shipped yet. I've been told it's in Denver by the salesperson, and by the logistics company or the delivery company in Denver, they're telling me it's on the way. Call customer support, their generic support line, to try to get in contact with someone. The guy, frankly, was very rude. All I said was, I just want to know where the car is. It's going to be here tomorrow. He's like, I can't tell you where the car is, and I won't even open a case for you until tomorrow. So I politely ask, hey, can I speak to a manager? Is there a way to escalate this? And he goes, sir, I don't have a manager, and if I did, they'd tell you the same thing. That's about where I lost it, just knowing I did not want to buy a car from this company. Sadly, I had already wired them all this money for the car. So delivery day is now here. It's 11/2, and there's no ETA on this car. I start basically getting on LinkedIn. I emailed what I thought was the CEO's email address. I called support. I had a much more friendly lady at this point. She couldn't even tell me what state the car's in, where it is, anything. So I said, I need to cancel this order. Pushes me over to the buyback team. I wait on hold for about 20 minutes. Finally, it kicks me into a voicemail, says no one's gonna answer. So of course, at this point, I'm kind of furious and panicking. They have all my money, I have no car or title. So I call back again after leaving a voicemail. I acted like I wanted to buy a car because I knew they wouldn't put me on hold. Asked that guy immediately, can you send me to the buyback team? Got in touch with someone. She was empathetic, even offered me a discount on the shipping. At this point, I had waited so long and I'd had pretty bad customer service and they lied to me. I was not gonna buy this car from them. I asked her one simple question. If you can tell me what state the car is in right now, I will consider taking the discount and buying the car from you still. She could not do that. The fact that an online dealer has logistics that are this bad, all you need to be able to do is take payments for a car and deliver a car. You can tell me where food is if I use Uber Eats or Postmates. You can't tell me where a $60,000 vehicle is that I purchased from you. That's frankly outrageous, and that's why I will never trust or use Vroom again. So finally got in touch with that lady from the buyback team. She said she was gonna process it. In the meantime, the fun part here is that some guy from Executive Escalations reached out to me, called me, left me a voicemail. At this point, I had already found the 4Runner half a mile down the road from me. I was still kind of hesitant, but I knew I wanted to get into vehicle as soon as possible with that 4Runner. So I talked to the Executive Escalation guy, explained the scenario. Again, he couldn't tell me where it was, but he was doing everything he could to locate it. Long story short, George, our logistics guy, who literally is in charge of shipping for Denver, lied to me the week before. You saw the email where he told me, he assured me it was on the way to Denver. Well, he emailed me on 11/2 and said, sorry, but the car is supposed to be picked up today by our third-party shipper. So he lied to me, the salesperson lied to me, half the other people couldn't tell me where the car was, and that is why I will never recommend Vroom, because that's outrageous, quite frankly, when you look at that. Being truthful to a customer is one thing, even when it's painful, right? But flat out lying to someone is not cool, and especially with this type of a value, it's a big asset. I never recommend anyone does business with Vroom as a result of this. And it's very well documented. I've shown you enough emails for this. Let's flip this around and have some more fun, because this story ends at least in a fun way for me. Oh, how the saga continues. So it's now next week, and I do have a Raptor, although it's not the one that I ordered from Vroom. So kind of funny story here. Definitely doing some ad hoc purchases, we'll call it. I like that, ad hoc purchases. So let me welcome you to this beaut. Camper and all. Well, look, I've always subscribed to the idea that you can't take things with you. I've always wanted a Raptor. I don't know when I'm getting this van. I get mixed updates, it seems like, every few days. So I should never have sold the Gladiator. Love the Gladiator, miss it. Would have been great to just keep that, especially financially. However, for now, we got the Raptor. So let me show you guys the future of the next few months, because we'll be doing some off-roading. I took it out yesterday just to have some fun. We went snowboarding. That noise will never get old. So let me show you guys the camper. Lockable camper. When we bring this down, full-on deck system, so I can put all my overlanding stuff in here, store it in here, and then up top here we've got the rooftop tent, which actually pops up and you can get into from the inside. This thing is so much fun to drive so far. The seats are just like couch cushions. It's got air-conditioned seats, heated seats, pretty well loaded sunroof, which is definitely nice as well. Been a big fan. I felt guilty kind of getting this, but it's going to be so much fun to have it while I do. It drives, I mean, excellently. It's kind of like a speedboat, I think. I've had different cars that drive differently, and it's just so cushy, and you just got so much torque. So 450 horsepower, 510 torque if you need the specs. This thing's going to be a lot of fun to go off-roading with. So I should probably explain what happened to the 4Runner. Well, you know, a lot of times you imagine things and things are much more exciting until you get them. And it had some funny quirks, like the back window, to lower it, I had to use the key. That would actually short out the system. So to use the rear wiper, I had to turn on the rear defrost. Everything mechanically was very good with the car, but I quickly started questioning, am I really gonna wanna take this thing home for the winter holidays? Am I gonna want to go off-roading in it where I know there is potential it could break down? It also didn't really have off-road tires. So hop, skip, and a jump, order a car on Vroom. Doesn't show up. Luckily, they sent me the refund check, which I got today. Just don't recommend using them. So the hop was Vroom. The skip was the 4Runner, which I bought locally, have now sold. I owned a car for a week. Yeah, that happened, so that was fun. And the jump, the Raptor, which I wanted to ultimately get anyway, and having the shorter wheelbase, while the residuals on it, when I go to sell it, those don't do as well to retain their value. It's gonna be much better for off-roading, and honestly, just driving it around town, it's much easier to park. Next video, we will definitely be doing a full walk around of this rig. I'll show you the full inside of the camper. We're gonna move over our overlanding gear, everything into here. Ultimately, yeah, I could have just kept the Gladiator, that would have been what I went with, but hey, life will sometimes throw you curveballs, and it's just about how you handle them. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Subscribe if you want to see more future videos with this Raptor. Hit that thumbs up if you like this video, guys. As always, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you next time.